Let me start with a sentence that sounds fake. Thailand and Cambodia are still fighting over a temple. Not oil, not water, not lithium, a temple. An ancient stone building on a mountain, built 1,000 years ago, which immediately raises a question. How does something that old keep starting fights in the present? Because this isn't about religion, and it's definitely not about architecture. This is about borders, pride, and a map that refuses to die. The temple is called Preah Vihear. It was built by the Khmer Empire, centered in what is now Cambodia. Culturally, Khmer. Historically, Khmer. Spiritually, Khmer. But geographically, it sits right on the edge of the Thailand-Cambodia border. And by on the edge, I mean Cambodia says it's theirs. Thailand says, well, define edge. Congratulations. You now have a century-long dispute. Here's where it starts to sound familiar. The story usually starts in the European colonial era. In the early 1900s, France controlled Cambodia. France and Siam, modern-day Thailand, agreed that the border would follow the watershed line. Simple rule. Water flows this way, border goes that way. Then, France drew a map, and the map put the temple on the Cambodian side. Thailand didn't officially sign off on the map, but also didn't protest it for decades, which, in international law, is basically saying, I guess that's fine, and then regretting it forever. So now, the temple is Cambodian, but the land around it? Still hotly disputed. This is how maps ruin lives. In 1962, the International Court of Justice stepped in and ruled the temple belongs to Cambodia. Case closed. Except, no, not closed. Because while the court decided the temple, it didn't clearly settle all the surrounding territory. So both sides left court saying, we won, which is never a good sign. Now let's talk about why this keeps flaring up. Because neither country needs this temple. It's not strategic, not resource-rich, not economically decisive. What it is symbolic. For Cambodia, the temple represents historical pride, cultural survival, and proof that their history matters. For Thailand, losing territory, even symbolic territory, looks like weakness. And nothing scares politicians more than looking weak, especially during elections, protests, corruption scandals, or military power struggles. A border dispute is a very convenient distraction. Here's the key point. Most Thai and Cambodian citizens don't wake up thinking about this temple. But nationalism doesn't need mass obsession. It just needs a trigger, a flag raised, a headline written, a rumor spreads. Suddenly, compromise looks like betrayal. Backing down feels unpatriotic. And leaders who should be negotiating start posturing because it's safer to fight a neighbor than explain your own failures at home. You might ask, why doesn't ASEAN step in? ASEAN's core rule is non-interference, which means we encourage peace, but also, please don't make us pick sides. China stays neutral, publicly. The US calls for calm from very far away. So the conflict stays low grade, just intense enough to matter, just contained enough to ignore. So why are Thailand and Cambodia still fighting over a temple? Not because of religion or history, but because borders drawn by outsiders, national pride managed by politicians, and unresolved symbolism are a perfect recipe for recurring conflict. This isn't about the past refusing to stay buried. It's about the present finding the past useful. Because when politics gets uncomfortable, nothing unites people faster than a very old argument, especially one carved in stone. So yes, it's a temple, but it's also politics, pride, and a map that refuses to die. Thank you for tuning in to Global Storm Room. We'll see you next time when history shows up pretending it's current events.